Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
As we near the peak of hurricane season, the tropics are lighting up with activity. I'm tracking 5 systems, and I'll outline which 3 will impact land coming up.
And Hillary is one of them. Now a post-tropical cyclone, but it still poses a deadly threat across parts of the West. A look at the impact caused by the devastating weather.
Plus, a massive fire in Fayetteville could burn for days, while firefighters are letting it burn itself out, and the growing concern some homeowners are expressing about the air quality. We have breaking news this noon. Sky 5 is over the scene of an emergency situation in Nash County that happened just moments ago.
Michelle McConaughey is in the WRAL Live Center with what she's learned in just the last 10 minutes. Michelle.
Yeah, well, we actually just got confirmation from the sheriff that a liquid propane tank has exploded in Castalia, which is in Nash County, and it did kill a person. We have Sky 5 over the scene right now to show you the area where this explosion happened. This is brand new information. We just got everything confirmed from the sheriff. 1 person has died after a liquid propane tank exploded. This happened on Red Hood Road in Nash County. That's in Castalia. We are staying on top of this to learn the identity of the person. We're working to learn if anybody else was hurt in all of this. We will have that for you coming up as soon as we get it. We're also following more breaking news in Nash County as well. A crash on I-95. I want to take you over here to the map to show you exactly where this crash is happening. It has shut down northbound lanes of 95 just under where it says Rocky Mount. That is where the crash happened. You can see Cary and Raleigh to the west here. So this is happening mile marker 134 on I-95, which is near Westmount Drive. We're working to learn how many cars were involved in this, if anybody was hurt. I do have this picture here to show you the backups that are happening on I-95 right now. Again, that is I-95 North near mile marker 134. We have 2 breaking news stories in Nash County. As soon as I get any more information on them, I will bring that to you here in the Live Center.
Tropical storm Hillary is weakening, but it's already caused widespread flooding and damage in the northern part of the Baja California Peninsula.
Just take a look at this video out of Palm Springs, California. The area inundated with water. It usually gets about 5 inches of rain during the whole year, but could see 6 to 10 inches from this one storm alone.
In Las Vegas, meantime, officials declared a state of emergency there due to the threat of rising floodwaters. Hillary could rank among the most rain-laden tropical cyclones recorded.
Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at rain totals and our tropical forecast. Kat.
And we have brand new information in at noon. The system that we've been watching all of last week that was headed for the Gulf of Mexico, it has officially been designated potential tropical cyclone number 9. And what this does is, even though it hasn't developed into a tropical storm or a tropical depression yet, the National Hurricane Center is able to designate it this so they can go ahead and issue tropical storm warnings. And that's what they've done for parts of the east coast of Texas, including Corpus Christi. This system is going to continue to track to the west and make its way into South Texas this week, likely as a tropical storm by the time we get to tomorrow morning. So this is going to develop quickly, and the National Hurricane Center needed to get ahead of it and go ahead and issue those tropical storm warnings. Luckily, it is going to bring some much needed rain to South Texas. We'll keep an eye on those rainfall totals for you. It looks like in that 3 to 5 inch range. We're finally done with advisories on Hillary. It's now a post-tropical cyclone. It will continue to move to the north as just remnants, but parts of California saw over 10 inches of rain from this system, and Southern California typically sees a trace at most of rain for the entire month of August. So this is really unusual. Significant landslides, roads closed, and roads washed out entirely reported in Southern California, with what's been a very unusual summer for them so far. But we've got a lot more to watch on the map. We have 5 systems total. Potential tropical cyclone number 9 will impact the Gulf Coast. Hillary, of course, impacting the West Coast, and then 3 others. Franklin is the other one that's going to impact land, moving over Hispaniola during the middle of the week. I'll have a closer look at this system, which could become a hurricane, and one of the currents steering the tropical systems coming up.
Kat, thanks for that. We'll take you to Fayetteville now, where firefighters are looking at a massive fire. They are not battling it, though, letting it burn out. This was the scene this morning on Shaw Mill Road and Murkison Road. The fire began around 11 o'clock last night and is still burning more than 13 hours later. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live on the scene right there where the Forestry Service is trying to protect a nearby wood line. Destiny.
You know, it's pretty incredible just how they were able to contain these flames, given how close it is to this very wooded area. If you take a look at that Sky 5 video, you can see just how far out that fire spans in this plot of land. A deputy chief with the fire department tells me fire crews were not able to extinguish those flames overnight, and the main reason for that is accessibility. He says they wouldn't be able to get units down there because the ground would get soggy from that water. Plus, he says the flames are too hot to be able to get crews down to certain spots. And that's why they have helicopters up, making sure that they can get to those really hot spots that they just can't get to. I asked how this fire would affect the air quality, and he says that it may only affect sensitive groups at this time.
Right now, we're good because it's a bright sunny day, so all the smoke is going straight up. If it was a cloudy day or if the weather changes and the smoke lays down, then it may become a respiratory issue for the neighboring communities. But again, it's natural wood, so there's not a chemical problem.
The smoke and even flames from this fire can be seen well outside of this neighborhood. At this point, there's no telling exactly how long we will be out here. Crews say that they'll be out here until they get these flames extinguished. So this road here from Murchison to Rose Hill will be closed off until they get this situation remedied.
They're clearly putting a lot of water on that right now. Destiny Patterson live in Fayetteville this noon for us. Destiny, thank you.
A Durham police officer was injured in a crash this morning after a car chase. Police say the cruiser was parked blocking an intersection of Hillsborough Road and NC Highway 751 around 2 this morning. Law enforcement was pursuing a pickup truck that had been carjacked. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at that scene now. Monica, tell us more about how this unfolded.
Well, Renee, if you take a look behind me here, you can see where that white car is parked with a bicycle on the back. That is the hill. Police say the suspect drove straight through, flying into the air. The carjacked vehicle then hit a DPD cruiser that was parked at this intersection and finally came to rest here in this parking lot. Now, if you take a look at video from early this morning, you can see that pickup truck and the police cruiser sustained serious damage. Only one car here at the business had some minor damage. We spoke with the president here at Auto First Inc. about how he learned what happened here overnight.
Opened up WRAL on my pad and saw a picture of something that looked very familiar to me, which was my front line at the dealership out here on the business of on Hillsborough Road. And so then I clicked on it and learned that there was a lot of police at my business.
Durham police say the driver and passenger of the carjacked vehicle were caught. That passenger was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The DPD officer who was in the cruiser that was hit also had minor injuries and did have to be transported to the hospital, but has been released. Police say this crash is still under investigation. Renee?
Glad they were minor injuries. Monica Casey, live in Durham. Thank you. The Person County father accused of shooting and killing a driver who struck and killed his son will appear in court later this week. Chad Woods Sr. is charged with second-degree murder in the death of Jeffrey McKay. Woods was scheduled to appear in court today, but that hearing has been moved to Friday. Investigators say McKay was driving a truck that hit and killed Woods' son, 17-year-old Chad Jr., as the family was walking on Ashley Dink Road. Investigators say while McKay was calling 911, Woods shot and killed him.
A Raleigh man is calling for justice after his Trump won sign was set on fire twice in the past week. John Kane Jr. says this is just the most recent vandalism he's had to endure. WRAL's Eric Miller has been looking into this and joins us live with details about what happened. Eric?
Well, Jeff, Kane says he's had some version of this sign right here, out here for months. And in that time, it's been vandalized multiple times. But this last week, Kane says somebody, well, they just took it too far. Take a look at this video right here. This is security video that Kane shared of early in the morning on August 15th. You can see a cyclist right there setting the sign on fire. Kane said he put out another sign after that. Says the same man then came back and burned it again on the 18th.
The audacity of that is frightening. There are lots of signs I see I don't care for, but I've not set one on fire.
Now, Kane shared that security video online. He says somebody was able to match that cyclist's Strava profile to their times and locations for when the sign was burned. We're also able to match up pictures later. Kane is pursuing civil charges right now. We've also reached out to RPD. They confirmed they're investigating this incident as well. Now, we've reached out to the person that Kane says was responsible for burning these signs here. So far, we've not heard back. Jeff?
Caught on camera right there. Eric Miller live in Raleigh for us. Eric, thanks. Leaders in Rockingham County will vote today on whether to rezone a property to allow for a casino. This comes as state lawmakers are moving closer to a deal that would allow casinos not only there, but in Nash and Anson counties as well. Lawmakers are hopeful this will spark economic development in rural areas, but some lawmakers claim there has been a lack of transparency about the plan.
In about 2 hours, Wake County commissioners are expected to approve millions of dollars for PNC Arena renovations. Raleigh City Council members approved the funding last week. That money is part of a larger recommendation from the city and county managers on how to spend revenue from the hospitality tax. If approved, money would also go toward the Cary Indoor Sports Facility and Raleigh Convention Center. It is a mixed market Monday as we take a look at how stocks are doing. First, the Dow Jones Industrial Average in the red, down about 220 points as investors await Jerome Powell's speech later this week for clues as to what action the Fed might take. S&P 500 also in the red, just down about 5 points, but NASDAQ in the green, advancing 55 points at this hour.
Next at noon, scary moments after a couple of preseason NFL incidents left players down on the field for minutes. The league's response to safety concerns.
Also, the arm you choose for your COVID booster shot could determine how effective it is. The research that reminds you to choose carefully.
Plus, Donald Trump won't be there, so who will be on stage for the first debate among Republican presidential hopefuls?
Download the new WRAL streaming apps on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV.
A scary sequence played out at an NFL preseason game over the weekend between the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. Rookie cornerback Isaiah Bolden collided with a teammate and ended up lying motionless on the field for minutes. NBC's Sam Brock updates Bolden's condition and the NFL's response to the situation.
A regular preseason game between the Packers and Patriots quickly elevated to something much more serious Saturday.
Immediately calling for the medical team off the sideline.
Pat's rookie cornerback Isaiah Bolden went for a tackle but collided with a teammate, ending up on the field motionless for minutes.
Patriots players taking a knee, Packers to a man.
Players praying, with Bolden ultimately carried off on a stretcher. Both coaches backing the NFL's decision to suspend play with more than 10 minutes left.
I appreciate the way the league handled it. I think that was the right thing to do.
It's a scary situation, one that you never want to see in our game.
In a boost to Patriots fans, the team writing, after undergoing a series of evaluations and being held for overnight observations, Isaiah Bolden has been released from a Green Bay hospital. Returning home on the team bus and posting on social media, appreciate the prayers, more excited to be back with the guys. It follows another weekend scare with Buccaneers quarterback John Wolford, who suffered a neck injury and also needed to be stretchered off the field.
The head whip a bit on the first initial hit.
The incidents coming 7 months after Bills safety Damar Hamlin experienced cardiac arrest during a nationally televised game, only to make his miraculous preseason return a week ago.
It was real special, like a moment of serendipity, just like life coming full circle for me, just go through what I went through.
Players who watched Bolden scare certainly felt flashbacks.
It brought that DeMar feeling of, and it's just scary. That's just how it feels. So it's just praying for him, man, that he's okay.
The NFL continues to update its rules to protect player safety, from tightening concussion protocols mid-season last year to reducing violent collisions on kickoffs. This morning, the league just grateful that Bolden will return to full health.
And everyone is glad for that. COVID-19 may cause some people to develop high blood pressure. A new report in the medical journal Hypertension found that 1 in 5 patients who were hospitalized with COVID developed high blood pressure 6 months later. Scientists are unsure how the COVID virus might trigger new onset high blood pressure. The study suggests that the coronavirus could infect heart cells and disrupt blood pressure regulation. When you go to get your newly updated COVID-19 booster this fall, the arm you choose could make a difference in how effective it is. Researchers in Germany say immune response may be stronger if your booster goes in the same arm as your last COVID-19 shot. Scientists studied hundreds of people who received the mRNA vaccine as well as a booster shot as part of Germany's vaccine campaign. 2 weeks after the booster, the number of killer T cells was significantly higher in those who had both shots in the same arm.
A company in North Carolina dumped massive amounts of toxic chemicals into the Cape Fear River for decades. Cape Fear River is the drinking water supply for hundreds of thousands of people. These forever chemicals also contaminated the air and groundwater surrounding the plant. We first learned of the contamination 5 years ago, but thousands of people are forced to use contaminated water today. It is one of the most pivotal contamination stories in the United States and the subject of our latest WRAL documentary, Forever Chemicals, North Carolina's Toxic Tap Water. It airs this week on WRAL. WRAL investigative documentary reporter Kristen Severance and WRAL environmental reporter Liz McLaughlin teamed up to show what's happening in these contaminated areas.
You know, how has the contamination impacted your life?
Terribly. I have cancer. My dog has cancer. It's a true living nightmare. My doctors in Duke actually told me if I drank out the tap, it would make my cancer worse than what it is right now.
They can't tell me it's not harming the people.
I feel like they're waiting on us to die. Oh, they'll stop. They're going to die, so it doesn't matter. No.
Our WRAL documentary unit shines a light on how this contamination happened and highlights demands from families who want to know if drinking toxic water for years has led to health problems, including cancer and birth defects. You can watch Forever Chemicals, North Carolina's Toxic Tap Water, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on WRAL or on WRAL.com or on the WRAL Doc YouTube page at 8 p.m.
Water an absolute necessity. No doubt that documentary will be eye-opening. It is 12:18 now, and another hot and humid day, and you'll need to be drinking a lot of water to stay hydrated.
No doubt. Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a lot of water right there behind you.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, we had the nice weather for the weekend, but boy, the heat is coming back. Like Gaston is going to be a good place to be today. A live look from the Point Restaurant, and it looks inviting. You can see we have some upper level clouds in the area. A little bit of haze out there. We've got some light smoke from the Canadian wildfires coming back this week. But as of right now, we're not expecting any significant impacts. We'll let you know if that changes. Right now, it's 94 degrees already, and it's just noon. We still have hours to heat up in the Triangle. The heat index, 99. The heat index up to 106 now in Clinton, 104 in Goldsboro, 102 is what it feels like in Fayetteville. The heat and humidity are back. Unfortunately, we're not able to hold on to our weekend weather for long. If you are headed out today, it's a good day to go back to school shopping where you're inside in the air conditioning. Just make sure that you leave the AC running in the car for a few minutes before you get in today. It's going to be sizzling hot afternoon. Good day to be indoors. 95 at 2 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, 97 degrees. And our highs today should top out right around 97 here in the Triangle. 94 is the heating potential, even up in Roxborough. 95 for Siler City, 96 in Roanoke Rapids, 97 in Wilson today. And just to the south, 98 in Fayetteville, 97 for Smithfield as well as Sanford. It is hot no matter where you are on the map today. This is why we've got this big area of high pressure, a big ridge of high pressure that's centered over the central U.S. right now. And this heat dome is going to heat us up. It's also got sinking air, so we're going to be mainly dry. This is one of the features that's going to steer the tropical system in the Gulf, though, as well. You can see we're kind of under the influence of it on the dry side of things, minimal rain chances for the work week. But this is what's going to steer that tropical system right into South Texas. The swath of heaviest rain staying south of Houston should be between about 3 to 5 inches of rain. Unfortunately, this isn't lining up with the area just north of it that needs the rain the most in Texas, but Texas has had a very hot and dry summer, so the rain could be beneficial, and it doesn't look like that system will strengthen too much, which is good news. If you have a garden, you need to keep watering this week. Here at home, we're not going to see that kind of rain. It's just going to be a hot week where your plants are going to need an extra drink of water up until the weekend. At least we've got some dry weather. Wednesday and Thursday look like some of the nicest days of the week. Tomorrow, though, we're still going to be in the heat. 96 with a heat index over 100 tomorrow. Once you get past today and tomorrow's heat, we get a little bit of a break Wednesday and Thursday. Coming up in the next half hour, I'll have a closer look at the humidity levels those days, but it doesn't last for long. We are right back up into the mid-90s as we head into Friday and Saturday. We could be back in the 80s, though, by the time we get to the end of next weekend. Renee and Jeff?
All right, Kat, thank you. Overusing social media is linked to poor mental health, especially in teenage girls. Today at 5, as part of our back-to-school coverage, we talk to young adults who tell us they wish their parents would have done more to curb their social media screen time. 5 on Your Side breaks down ways any parent can take control right now.
Also coming up tonight at 6, from doors that won't lock to faulty sprinklers, WRAL investigates fire safety inspections to make sure our schools are safe for the start of the year. And still ahead this noon, parents are shifting away from paying their kids with cash for allowance. Why so many are turning to Venmo and PayPal.
And the push to move to a 4-day work week is in the works for one state. The research a lawmaker is using to show that this would not have a negative impact.
Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we have an update to a story that we brought you as breaking news earlier in the newscast about that one car that was involved in a crash on I-95 in Nash County. This is live footage here from Sky 5 over the scene. We have just learned that one tanker truck was involved in this crash. The tanker truck was carrying water and it overturned. This is happening on I-95 North in Nash County around mile marker 134, which is Westmount Drive. But you can see the extensive backups on I-95 right now, stretching for miles. As soon as the 2 lanes get to where that tanker overturned, it does go down to 1 lane, which is why these delays are so heavy right now. This again happening in Nash County, I-95 North near Westmount Drive. Again, one tanker truck overturned. The driver had minor injuries.
Parents are looking toward digital payment apps to send money to their teens. New research by Visa found nearly 2/3 of parents prefer to give kids money with Venmo, PayPal, or other apps rather than physical cash. They say it's more convenient and saves them time. About 3/4 of parents say they can then track how their kids spend the money. A northeastern state could see large businesses move to a 4-day work week if a bill passes. Pennsylvania State Representative Ronnie Green says she will introduce a bill that would require businesses of 500 employees or more to move to a 4-day work week without reducing pay. Green says societal needs have shifted since the 40-hour work week schedule was adopted. Green also says research shows productivity does not drop with shorter work weeks.
Millions of people in Southern California are under flash flood warnings right now. Why officials are telling people to shelter in place. Plus, we're 2 days away from the first GOP presidential debate. Why former President Donald Trump says you won't see him on the stage. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We begin this half hour in Southern California, the region Hillary hit as a tropical storm, bringing strong winds and torrential rain. The storm caused massive flooding and mudslides. Look at all this debris that was spilling onto a freeway just 55 miles north of Los Angeles. Then portions of the area were hit by an earthquake. NBC's Jay Gray is riding out the storm in Santa Clarita.
Hey there, and finally a break from the rain that continued for hours across Southern California. And what did it leave behind? We'll take a look behind me. This is part of it right here. You can see teams that have been working here in the roadway. Water rushing down this street in Santa Clarita and ripping away part of the road. And at that time, rupturing the gas line. So they're working on that, obviously. And unfortunately, it's damage like that, situations like that are playing out across the entire region right now. After strong rain that soaked into several areas, there was flash flooding, some of the roads swallowed by that water. You had power lines and trees pulled down by wind gusts. We had some rock slides as well. And again, this is something that this area just not used to. To see a tropical storm moving through Southern California has really never happened before. They've never had that type of warning ever or watch, and that's what happened this weekend. Then throw into the mix that they had a 5.1 magnitude earthquake as all of this was going on. Nowhere but California does something like that happen. So we expect this entire system to be gone by midday or so here. And that's good news because it allows some of the teams to get into the harder hit areas, really get a full assessment. That's the very latest right now from Santa Clarita. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you.
And Jay touched on this. On top of all the flooding, Southern California was rocked by a magnitude 5.1 earthquake Sunday. You're looking at new video showing a plant inside a Ventura, California home shaking the moment the quake rumbled. People about 50 miles away say it felt like a slow roll and lasted about 20 seconds. So far, no reports of injuries, deaths, or serious damage. Thank goodness.
We now know what happened in the moments leading up to a crash involving a Durham police officer. This happened around 2 o'clock this morning at the intersection of Hillsborough Road and NC Highway 751. An officer was parked in the eastbound lanes of Hillsborough Road when a driver of a stolen truck hit the cruiser and another vehicle at a nearby business. 3 people, including the officer, had minor injuries. No word on charges. Raleigh police are trying to figure out how 2 shootings happened yesterday. In the first case, they're trying to track down a person accused of shooting and leaving another person with life-threatening injuries. Investigators say the shooting happened yesterday afternoon in the Shades Place neighborhood, right across from a park where children play regularly. They believe it stemmed from a fight. Police say this appears to be an isolated incident. And in the other case, officers say a man shot his own daughter. It happened Sunday on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, just east of the Grantland Drive intersection. Investigators say
Students on the traditional calendar head back to the classrooms in exactly 1 week. We asked a UNC pediatrician what she wants parents to know about their children's health. First, she says if it has been more than a year since your child's last checkup, schedule one now.
It's a really good opportunity for the parents to have the child up to date on vaccines, particularly those vaccines that are required for school.
Dr. Jessica Young also says you should talk to kids about phone safety, bullying, and social media use. You can find all her recommendations by looking for this story on the WRAL.com homepage.
As kids head back to school, you may be wondering, how safe are their classrooms? WRAL Investigates Sarah Kruger has a preview of a story you'll see only on WRAL.
The start of school is just around the corner, but not without plenty of repair work to make our classrooms safer. Tonight at 5:30, WRAL investigates the past 6 months of fire code inspections in Wake County schools. We're talking security concerns like doors that don't close properly and safety issues like blocked exit doors and sprinkler systems that aren't up to code.
You sending your kid in there, yes, you wanted to make sure your kids are safe.
The most common fire inspection problems, and one school in the county hit with more than 100 violations. Back to school fire safety inspections tonight at 5:30. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, Raleigh.
We are in week 4 of this year's Clear the Shelters event. Today's shelter spotlight is Carolina Animal Rescue and Adoption. They have tons of fur babies like Care Bear, Winston, and Winnie right here, who are eager to be your new best friend. To help get pets adopted, the shelter is holding its annual Ride for Their Lives event this Saturday. You can find all the details on that event on WRAL.com/shelters. Coco Gauff scores a big win in Ohio. Why this victory is especially sweet.
Plus, Tesla is letting more than 75,000 people know their personal information may be compromised. Who the company says is behind the leak. Tesla is suing 2 former employees after more than 75,000 Tesla users had their personal information leaked in a massive data breach. The car maker says it is notifying those who are affected. The Maine Attorney General office says that the information leaked includes names, addresses, and social security numbers. Some complaints from Tesla owners were also leaked. Tesla is accusing 2 now former employees and says it filed a lawsuit against them.
Tennis star Coco Gauff has a new nickname, Champion of Cincinnati. Gauff's 6-3, 6-4 victory Sunday over Karolina Muchova gave her the 5th and most significant title of her career. The 19-year-old tossed a racket in the air after surviving a 1 hour and 56-minute match in 90-degree heat. Gauff is now the youngest person to win the Western and Southern Open. Barbie is no longer the queen of the box office. Superhero origin story Blue Beetle took the top spot at theaters this week, knocking Barbie to number 2 after 4 weeks on top. Barbie has already made more than $1 billion worldwide.
The finals of American Ninja Warrior begin tonight on WRAL, and the network's already revealed someone will conquer the finals course and take home $1 million. A local competitor could win it all. Mark Barger has a preview.
Someone's taking home $1 million. Who's it gonna be?
The past 2 seasons, teenager Caden Lebsack came the closest to doing it.
But he's slowing down, Alfar!
The 75-foot rope climb against the clock on the course's 4th and final stage did him in.
You got to keep in mind, in the past 14 seasons of American Ninja Warrior, we've only had 2 winners.
But NBC has revealed a 3rd is coming. Someone conquered the finals course earlier this summer.
We have a winner!
It's inspiration, and who doesn't need that inspiration?
Lebsack begins his 3rd quest for the million tonight.
Wow!
One of 73 ninjas taking on the first of the course's 4 stages. It's where Vance Walker hopes to avenge his shocking exit last season.
And I've made my whole entire life ninja, and just my whole entire focus winning the show.
Winning is also the goal for Ashley Bergstrom and her husband Caleb, the first couple to make the finals.
You feel nerves whenever you compete, but you feel them even more for people that you love and watching them compete.
Making the challenge even tougher, the ninjas get no practice runs.
These athletes have no idea what obstacles they're going to face. They don't get to touch those obstacles until they're on the course.
But one ninja's about to show
we're rolling into Vegas
that they have just the right touch to win.
$1 million!
Mark Barger, NBC News.
Brandon Thomas is from Apex. He will be among the athletes going for the big prize. I hope he's a fast learner for this one. Tonight's 2-hour start to the American Ninja Warrior Finals airs at 8 p.m. here on WRAL. The $1 million winner will be crowned 3 weeks from tonight on September 11th. So we can be homers for this. We can root for the local guy.
Yeah, let's hope it's the local guy. That would be a very cool connection. 12:47 now. Let's get to meteorologist Kat Campbell. And here we are moving towards the end of August, and we are moving past the names in the alphabet here for the hurricane season. How does this compare to years past?
We're running right about on schedule with normal, but we just seem to be checking the boxes one name after the other, and this is all happening so fast. It's pretty typical that there's a lull in tropical activity June, July, and early August due to a lot of Saharan dust, but that is now changing. And of course, we have 5 systems that we're watching out in the tropics. The next name on the list is Harold. And I want to mention this because this is the system that's likely to impact the Gulf of Mexico. You may be a little bit confused because Hillary hit the West Coast with an H name. We have a separate list of names for the Atlantic. Hillary was considered an Eastern Pacific tropical system, and that's why we are going to have 2 H storms. It's not typical, of course, that California is impacted by storms like this, but just want to make that distinction. Harold still the next name on the list, and that is what 9 is forecast to become, Tropical Storm Harold, as it makes landfall in southeast Texas as we get into tomorrow. Hillary, now just remnants. We've got 9, as I mentioned, a potential tropical cyclone. National Hurricane Center designating it that so they can go ahead and issue some tropical storm warnings in South Texas. We've got Tropical Storm Franklin, Gert and Emily. I don't think Gert and Emily are going to impact land, but of course here in North Carolina we always pay extra close attention to the F-name storm. So I want to show you the track for Franklin. It is likely to bring some heavy rain to parts of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico as it moves to the north. At this point, it's very unlikely that it would impact us here at home. Here are the model plots for it, and they're all in pretty good agreement that Franklin would pass over Hispaniola. It could threaten Bermuda as we get into the weekend. We'll keep an eye on that potential. But there is another tropical system out in the East Atlantic. This one also likely to develop, the chance of that up to 70%. And we do have model plots available for that system. So I want to take these model plots out for you all the way through the weekend. It is still going to be in the central Atlantic. We've got a long time to track this system. Bottom line, no threats to North Carolina the way it looks right now, despite such an active map out there. Our biggest threat today is the heat. We're already in the mid-90s at lunchtime for Durham and Raleigh. Fayetteville, 93. A little hazy out there. We've got some light smoke moving in from the Canadian wildfires. This morning, we certainly didn't have it. Meteorologist Amy Wilma took this picture earlier at the WRAL Gardens. We're still going to be hot despite some of those clouds today and the haze. It is 84 right now in Roxborough compared to our 94 in the Triangle, 93 in Fayetteville. And tomorrow the heat is back with us. We're at 96 for the high tomorrow, staying humid, but a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity Wednesday and Thursday. Those will be the best feeling days of the week before the heat returns on Friday. And that will come with some isolated storms for the weekend. Jeff and Renee.
Good to see some 80s in there for the week. Kat, thank you. Say it ain't so. Store shelves are already filling up with items for Halloween. We haven't even hit Labor Day yet. Reaction from people in social media when we return. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. This massive fire is burning in Fayetteville. We're told a pile of railroad ties caught fire overnight at the intersection of Shaw Mill and Murchison Roads. The flames can be seen for miles. Because the fire is so large, crews cannot battle the fire like they normally would. They are going to let it burn out. The State Forest Service says a nearby canal should also help with containment. Roads are closed as crews monitor the fire.
President Joe Biden and First Lady Joe Biden will visit Maui this afternoon. 850 people are still missing there after wildfires devastated the town of Lahaina. 114 people are confirmed dead. The Bidens will meet with survivors and first responders. More than 1,000 federal officials are there searching the rubble and trying to help those people.
In just a couple of hours, Wake County commissioners will vote on millions of dollars to renovate PNC Arena. There's also money for the Cary Indoor Sports Facility and Raleigh Convention Center. Raleigh's hospitality tax is expected to foot the bill.
Some people's sleep habits are costing Spotify millions of dollars. White noise podcasts on Spotify are reportedly costing the company about $38 million per year. The podcasts play calming sounds like rain, ocean waves, and static. People listen to them to try to fall asleep or block out background noise. One report says these podcasts are being listened to for 3 million hours a day, and they generate a lot less profit than talking podcasts.
It may be the dog days of summer, but many stores are already selling black cats and broomsticks. Store shelves are filling up with Halloween decor as early as midsummer, and it may be scaring off some folks. Many people on social media are wondering why the spooky season is already in full swing. One TikTok user commented, "Wow, already?" Yes, already.
Our pet of the day comes to us from the Wilson neglect situation we reported on with 42 other hounds. Several rescue teams teamed up and saved them. Nina is 1 year old, rescue hound there. She'd love to have another dog or kid friends to play with in her new home. Nina was rescued by Beautiful Together Animal Sanctuary and can't wait to meet her new family. Contact ARF at the number on your screen if you're interested in adopting. School starts a week from today. Tens of thousands of students across our state will be in classrooms. Coming up this afternoon on our news at 4. Getting drivers back to school ready for Monday when buses will be out on the roads.
Make the most of this toasty day. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a great Monday.
Watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.